The secret project had been hidden in underground laboratories beneath the Rocky Mountains for 2 years. Dr. Sarah Kim had been working with a team of the world's brightest scientists on something that could change space warfare forever. Now, with Earth under attack, it was time to reveal their greatest achievement. The quantum communication network is online, Dr. Kim announced to her team. Technician Pete Logan was monitoring the power systems while artificial intelligence, specialist Jenna Brooks, made final adjustments to the control computers. Every human ship in the fleet is now connected, Jenna reported. They can share information instantly, no matter how far apart they are. The aliens won't be able to surprise us anymore. Captain Jake Morrison felt the change immediately when the new system activated aboard the USS Liberty. Suddenly, he could see what every other human ship captain was seeing. He knew where every alien vessel was located and what they were planning to do. "This is incredible," Amy Stewart said from her communications station. "I can talk to any ship in the fleet without any delay. It's like we're all in the same room." Lucas Gray looked up from his computer with amazement. "Captain, this changes everything. We can coordinate attacks with perfect timing. The aliens won't know what hit them." Admiral Corlin was about to learn exactly what Lucas meant. His fleet was still struggling with the computer virus that had disrupted their communications. Half his ships couldn't talk to each other, while the humans were now more connected than ever before. "Admiral, human ships are appearing in impossible locations," Commander This Varen reported with growing panic. "They're attacking our weak points with perfect coordination." Jake Morrison was leading a strike force that included pilot Elena Vasquez and her squadron. Using the new communication system, they could time their attacks down to the exact second. "Elena, hit their left flank in exactly 30 seconds, Jake ordered. "I'll strike their command ship at the same moment." "Perfect timing, Captain," Elena replied. Her squadron was already in position, waiting for the precise moment to attack. The combined assault was devastating. Jake's quantum torpedoes disabled the alien command ship's weapons just as Elena's fighters destroyed their shield generators. The attack was so perfectly coordinated that the aliens had no time to respond. On the ground, the rigid Zephyrian military structure was becoming a major weakness. Lieutenant Commander Zara Keth watched her soldiers follow outdated orders while human forces adapted to every situation in real time. "Commander, the humans have changed their attack pattern again," one of her subordinates reported. "Our defensive positions are useless." Zara was beginning to understand something her superiors refused to see. The humans didn't just follow orders like Zephyrian soldiers did. Every human soldier could think independently and make decisions on their own. Colonel Chris Barnes demonstrated this perfectly as he led his team against alien positions around Washington, D.C. Instead of following a rigid plan, he let Maya Rodriguez and Ben Parker use their own judgment to find the best way to attack. "Maya, what do you see from your position?" Chris asked over the radio. "The aliens have fortified the main road, but they left the old subway tunnels unguarded," Maya replied. "Give me 10 minutes and I can come up behind them." "Ben, can you create a distraction from the east?" "Already moving, Colonel. I'll make enough noise to keep their attention while Maya gets into position." This kind of flexible thinking was something the aliens had never encountered before. Their military training taught them to follow orders exactly. Human military training taught soldiers to think for themselves and adapt to changing situations. Meanwhile, civilian scientists were joining the war effort in ways that amazed everyone. Dr. Maria Gonzalez had been studying alien shield technology from captured equipment. Working with Professor Alan Tucker, she discovered a fatal flaw in their defensive systems. The aliens use the same shield frequency on every ship, Dr. Gonzalez explained to Major Nick Roberts and Captain Susan Miller. "If we can find the right frequency, we can make their shields useless." "How long will that take?" Captain Miller asked. "We've already done it," Professor Tucker replied with a smile. "Every quantum weapon is now tuned to bypass their shields completely." The results were immediate and dramatic. Human weapons that had been only partially effective were now cutting through alien defenses like they weren't there. Admiral Corlan watched in horror as his most powerful ships were destroyed by weapons that seemed impossibly small, but the greatest surprise was still to come. Chief Engineer Tony Clark had been working with Lucas Gray and systems analyst Jennifer Walsh on something that would turn the aliens' own technology against them. "It's ready," Tony announced as he made final adjustments to a device that looked like a simple radio. "This will broadcast our virus directly into any alien ship that gets too close." "How close?" Jake asked. "Within weapons range," Jennifer replied. "As soon as they try to attack us, they'll be infected." The alien flagship moved in to attack the USS Liberty, expecting an easy victory against what they thought was just another human ship. Admiral Corlan wanted to destroy the ship that had caused him so much trouble. "Fire all weapons," Corlan ordered. "Destroy that ship completely." But the moment his weapons targeted the USS Liberty, Tony's device activated. The virus spread through the alien flagship's computers like lightning, taking control of every system on the ship. "Admiral, we've lost control of the ship," Thais Varan reported in panic. "All our weapons are firing on our own fleet." Corlan watched in disbelief as his flagship turned its guns on other Zephyrian ships. The virus had reprogrammed their targeting. Computers to see other alien ships as enemies. Across the fleet, the same thing was happening. Any ship that tried to attack human forces found itself infected with the virus. Soon, alien ships were fighting each other while human forces watched in amazement. "Captain, the alien fleet is destroying itself," Amy reported with wonder in her voice. But Jake knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when the aliens tried to adapt to human tactics. So far, they had been reactive, trying to respond to human innovations. But Admiral Corlan was the experienced military commander. Eventually, he would try something different. That moment came when younger alien officers like Zara Keth and Jex Morlan began questioning their rigid military doctrine. They had been watching human tactics and learning from them. "Admiral," Jex said carefully, "perhaps we should try adapting to their methods instead of forcing them to adapt to ours." Corlan's yellow eyes blazed with fury. "The Zephyrian way is perfect. We don't change our methods for anyone." But other alien officers were starting to listen to Jex and Zara. They had seen what happened when rigid thinking met flexible tactics. Some aliens were beginning to understand that their empire's greatest strength might also be its greatest weakness. Dr. Carter watched the battle from her command center, analyzing every move the aliens made. Her quantum weapons were working perfectly, but she knew the real victory was psychological. The aliens were starting to doubt themselves. "Ryan, prepare the final phase weapons," she ordered. "If the aliens are going to break, let's make sure they break completely." "The Mark III quantum disruptors are ready," Ryan replied. "These will shut down their ships without destroying them. We can capture their technology instead of just destroying it." The battle was reaching its climax. Human innovation was overwhelming. Alien arrogance. And the galaxy was about to learn that Earth was defended by the most dangerous species they had ever encountered. A species that got stronger under pressure and never stopped thinking of new ways to win. The battle had been raging for 6 hours. Admiral Vex Corlan stared at his command screen in disbelief. His mighty fleet had lost 43 ships, while the humans had lost only 8. This was not supposed to happen. "Admiral, the humans are using tactics we've never seen before," reported Commander Thais Varan. Her voice was strained with worry. "They don't follow any logical attack patterns." "Logic always wins," Corlan replied, but even he was starting to doubt his words. "Order all ships to attack Formation 7. Concentrate fire on their largest ships." But squadron leader Alex Turner was already anticipating the alien move. Flying his fighter through a field of laser fire, he spoke into his radio. "All squadrons, scatter pattern 9. Don't let them target our big ships." Rachel Scott pulled her fighter into a tight turn that would have killed most alien pilots. Alex, their formation is too rigid. If we hit the command ship on the left flank, the whole group will fall apart. Do it, Alex ordered. Matt, cover her approach. Matt Williams dove his fighter toward the alien formation, drawing their fire away from Rachel. His ship took several hits, but he kept flying. Rachel, you have a clear shot. Rachel fired her quantum torpedoes directly into the alien command ship's bridge. The explosion was spectacular, and just as she predicted, the entire alien formation scattered in confusion. On the ground, Dr. Helen Carter was watching the space battle while preparing Earth's surface defenses. Her quantum weapons were working better than she had hoped, but she knew the aliens would eventually find a way to adapt. Ryan, how are the planetary defense grids coming along? She asked her chief engineer. Ryan Mitchell looked up from his control panel. Every major city now has quantum weapon installations. The aliens won't find Earth as easy to conquer as they think. Kate Nelson was monitoring alien communications from her computer station. Dr. Carter, I'm picking up interesting chatter from their fleet. They're starting to panic. Some of their ship captains are questioning the Admiral's orders. Dr. Carter smiled. Fear is contagious, even among aliens. If we can make them doubt themselves, we're halfway to victory. But the aliens were not giving up. Admiral Corland decided to change tactics. Instead of trying to fight the human space fleet, he would land troops directly on Earth's surface. Ground combat would be different. Surely humans couldn't be as unpredictable on the ground as they were in space. Launch all landing pods, Corland ordered. We'll take their cities and force them to surrender. Thousands of alien landing pods, streaked toward Earth like falling stars. Each pod contained 50 Zephyrian soldiers equipped with advanced weapons and armor. The aliens expected to overwhelm human ground forces quickly. Colonel Chris Barnes was waiting for them. His special operations team had been preparing for ground combat since the moment they learned about the alien threat. Chris, Maya Rodriguez, and Ben Parker had studied every piece of information about Zephyrian military tactics. Remember, Chris told his soldiers as the alien pods began landing in the forests outside New York, they fight like robots. Same formations, same tactics, every time. We fight like humans. The first wave of alien soldiers emerged from their pods in perfect formation. They advanced toward the city in straight lines, just like their military manuals taught them. It was exactly what Chris had hoped for. Maya, take your team around the left flank. Ben, go right. I'll hit them from the front, Chris ordered. Make it look like chaos, but stay coordinated. The human attack seemed to come from everywhere at once. Maya's team struck from the trees using weapons that fired around corners. Ben's soldiers attacked from underground tunnels that didn't exist on any alien map. Chris's frontal assault used tactics that made no sense to Zephyrian military thinking. What are they doing? Lieutenant Commander Zara Keth asked her superior as her alien troops fell back in confusion. Their attack has no structure, no plan. Exactly, her commander replied. They're primitive. Keep advancing. Their chaos will defeat itself. But Zara wasn't convinced. She had been watching human tactics, and she was starting to see a pattern in their apparent randomness. The humans weren't being chaotic. They were being creative. Every attack was different, but they all worked together toward the same goal. Above the battlefield, Captain Jake Morrison had returned from his mission and was now commanding the orbital Defense Station USS Liberty. His communications officer, Amy Stewart, was working with cyber warfare specialist Lucas Gray to hack into the alien computer networks. Captain, I'm getting something, Lucas reported. The aliens use a centralized command system. Every ship and every soldier takes orders from their main computer. What does that mean for us? Jake asked. Amy looked up from her console with excitement. It means if we can hack their main system, we can disrupt their entire fleet at once. Their weakness is also their strength, Lucas explained. Perfect coordination makes them powerful. but it also makes them vulnerable. If we break their main computer, the whole fleet will be paralyzed. Jake smiled. Once again, human thinking was different from alien thinking. The Zephyrians sought perfection and control. Humans embraced adaptation and independence. "Do it," Jake ordered. "Break their system." Lucas and Amy worked together, their fingers flying across computer keyboards. They were trying to break into a computer system designed by an alien civilization, but they had advantages the aliens didn't expect. Human computer programs were designed to be flexible and creative, while alien programs followed rigid rules. "I'm in," Lucas announced after an hour of work. "Their security is amazing, but it assumes the attacker will follow logical patterns. It can't handle random human thinking." "Upload the virus," Amy said. "Let's see how they like a little human chaos." In their perfect system, the virus spread through the Zephyrian fleet like wildfire. Suddenly, alien ships found themselves unable to communicate with their command structure. Soldiers on the ground stopped receiving orders. The perfect Zephyrian military machine began to fall apart. On the alien flagship, alarms were sounding everywhere. "Admiral, we've lost contact with 60% of our ships," Thijs Varen reported. "Something has invaded our computer networks." Corland's yellow eyes were wide with fury and disbelief. "How is this possible? Our computer security is perfect." "Perhaps perfection is the problem," suggested a younger officer named Jex Morlan. "These humans don't think like us. They don't follow rules." Corland turned on the young officer angrily. "Rules and discipline created our empire. Chaos is weakness." But across the fleet, other alien officers were beginning to have doubts. Zara, Keth watched her troops retreat from human forces half their size. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose, while her soldiers followed orders without thinking. Dr. Carter's planetary defenses were now fully active. Quantum weapons fired from hidden installations around the world, striking alien ships that thought they were safe in orbit. The aliens had planned for human weapons they understood, but they couldn't defend against technology that worked in ways they had never imagined. "Ryan, the quantum grid is working perfectly," Dr. Carter reported. "We're actually winning this battle." "The aliens are starting to retreat from several positions," Kate added. "Their communications are so disrupted they can't coordinate a proper defense." Admiral Corland stared at his tactical display in growing horror. His perfect fleet was being defeated by a species he had thought was primitive. Human weapons that shouldn't work were destroying his ships. Human tactics that made no sense were overwhelming his soldiers. Human computer viruses were turning his own technology against him. For the first time in his long military career, Vex Corland began to wonder if the Zephyrian Empire had made a terrible mistake. These humans were not like the other species his fleet had conquered. They were something new, something dangerous, something that fought back in ways no military manual had ever described. The tide of battle was turning, and Earth was still free. 29 days had passed since the alien message reached Earth. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the United Defense Council chamber, watching world leaders argue about humanity's response. Some wanted to negotiate. Others refused to even consider surrender. The debate had been going on for hours. "We can't fight 500 alien warships," said President Chen of the Asian Coalition. "Our entire space fleet has only 60 combat ships. It's basic math." "Math doesn't include the human spirit," replied General Patricia Hayes, commander of Earth's military forces. "We've never surrendered our planet to anyone, and we're not starting now." Admiral Kevin Brooks stepped forward. "The debate is over. Long-range sensors confirm it. The alien fleet has arrived at the edge of our solar system." The room fell silent. Every person in the chamber knew this moment would come. But it still felt unreal. Aliens were actually here, ready to attack Earth. On the main display screen, Admiral Vex Corland appeared. He looked like a tall human, but with gray skin and yellow eyes that showed no emotion. His uniform was covered in strange symbols that probably meant he had won many battles. "People of Earth," the alien admiral said, "your time is finished. We gave you 30 days to surrender. You have chosen to fight instead. This is foolish. Prepare to watch your cities burn." The transmission ended. Admiral Brooks turned to the council. "All defense forces are at maximum alert. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier is ready." But Jake knew the truth that most people didn't. Earth's defenses were not just the obvious military forces. Down in the secret laboratories beneath the mountains, Dr. Helen Carter had been working, day and night on projects that could change everything. Dr. Carter was a small woman with gray hair, but her mind was one of the brightest on Earth. For the past month, she had been working with engineer Ryan Mitchell and computer specialist Kate Nelson on weapons that used principles the aliens had never seen before. "The quantum field generators are ready," Dr. Carter told Ryan as they checked their equipment. "If my calculations are correct, these weapons will go right through their shields." Ryan nodded, but he looked worried. "Helen, we've only tested these on small targets. We don't know if they'll work against real alien ships." "Then we're about to find out," Kate said from her computer station. "The alien fleet is moving toward Earth. They'll be in weapons range in 6 hours. Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, Colonel Chris Barnes was preparing his special operations team for something that had never been tried before. His team included Sergeant Maya Rodriguez and Lieutenant Ben Parker, two of the best soldiers Earth had ever trained. "The aliens think they know how humans fight," Chris told his team. "They've studied our regular military tactics, but they don't know about improvisation. They don't know that humans can change plans in the middle of a battle." Maya checked her equipment one more time. "Colonel, what if their technology is so advanced that our tricks don't matter?" "Then we make new tricks," Ben answered before Chris could speak. "That's what humans do. We adapt." Chris smiled. Ben understood. The aliens might have better technology, but they thought in straight lines. Humans thought in circles, triangles, and shapes that didn't even have names yet. High above Earth, Commander Steve Johnson watched the alien fleet through his telescope on Defense Station Alpha. The alien ships were beautiful in a terrifying way. Each one was the size of a city and covered in weapons that could destroy entire continents. "Sir," said Lieutenant Carol White, "the aliens are sending smaller ships ahead of their main fleet. Looks like they want to test our defenses first. Let them come," Steve replied. "Ensign Foster, are all defense platforms ready?" "Yes, sir," answered Ensign Danny Foster. "Every gun, every missile, every shield generator is online." But Steve knew their conventional weapons might not be enough. The real hope lay with Dr. Carter's secret project and the other hidden strengths that Earth had been developing. The first, alien ships entered Earth's defense zone. They moved in perfect formation, like they had done this same attack 100 times before. Admiral Corlan probably expected Earth's ships to meet them in traditional battle formation. Instead, squadron. Leader Alex Turner led his fighter squadron in an attack pattern that made no sense to military textbooks. His wingmates Rachel Scott and Matt Williams followed him in a spiral formation that confused the alien targeting computers. "What are they doing?" Commander This Varen asked Admiral Corlan on the alien flagship. "Their attack pattern has no logic." "Exactly," Corlan replied. "Humans are chaotic. That's what makes them weak. Watch how easily we destroy them." But the alien commander was wrong. Alex Turner's crazy flight pattern wasn't weakness. It was creativity. The human fighters dodged alien fire that should have hit them, struck targets that should have been protected, and vanished into space before the aliens could respond. "Direct hit on alien cruiser number 7, Rachel reported over the radio. "Their shields are down." "How is that possible?" Matt asked. "Our weapons aren't supposed to be strong enough." "Dr. Carter's quantum torpedoes," Alex answered. She was right. They go right through alien shields like they're not even there. On Earth, Dr. Carter watched the battle through satellite feeds. Her new weapons were working, but she knew this was just the beginning. The aliens would adapt quickly. "Ryan, start preparing the second wave of weapons," she ordered. The Mark II quantum disruptors. "Already on it," Ryan replied. "But Helen, even with our new weapons, we're still outnumbered 10-1. "Numbers don't tell the whole story," Kate said, monitoring communication signals. "I'm detecting confusion in the alien fleet. Their commanders are arguing with each other." Dr. Carter smiled. The aliens were used to fighting enemies that followed predictable patterns. When faced with human unpredictability, their careful plans were falling apart. In space, Admiral Corlin was indeed confused. His fleet had conquered 47 worlds, but none of those battles had been like this. Human ships appeared where they shouldn't be, used weapons that worked in impossible ways, and fought with a determination that defied logic. "Admiral," reported General Quinn Zeltar, "we've lost 12 ships in the first engagement. The humans are using unknown technology." "Impossible," Corlan replied. "Our intelligence shows their technology is primitive." "Perhaps our intelligence was wrong," suggested Commander Varen. Corlan's yellow eyes flashed with anger. "The Zephyrian Empire is never wrong. These humans are just lucky. Prepare for full assault." But luck had nothing to do with it. What the aliens were seeing was something they had never encountered before. A species that got more dangerous the more desperate they became. Every human on Earth knew their home was threatened, and that knowledge made them capable of impossible things. As the alien fleet prepared for their main attack, Dr. Carter activated her most secret weapon. Hidden in laboratories around the world, thousands of human scientists and engineers were working together through quantum communication networks. They shared ideas instantly, adapted to new problems in real time, and created solutions faster than any single alien mind could comprehend. The battle for Earth was just beginning, but the aliens had already made their first critical mistake. They thought humans were weak because they seemed chaotic. They didn't understand that chaos was humanity's greatest strength. Captain Jake Morrison stared at the massive display screen on the bridge of the USS Dakota. The stars looked peaceful out here, near the edge of human space. It was just another routine mission to check on mining operations in the outer systems. Nothing exciting ever happened on these trips. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Amy Stewart from her position at the communications console. She was young but good at her job. Her fingers moved quickly across the controls as she tried to clean up the signal. "What kind of strange?" Jake asked, walking over to look at her screen. The crew had been together for 3 years now. Amy was usually calm, but today she looked worried. "It's a transmission, sir, but it's not from any human ship or station. The signal is coming from outside our solar system." Amy's voice was quiet. "And Captain, it's really powerful, much stronger than anything we can send." Jake felt his stomach tighten. First contact with aliens was something every space captain dreamed about and feared at the same time. "Can you translate it?" "Working on it now, sir. The computer is trying to figure out their language." Amy's hands never stopped moving. "This is incredible. They're using technology we've never seen before." Lisa Martinez, the ship's tactical officer, looked up from her station. "Captain, my sensors show no ships in the area. Whatever sent this message is very far away, but still reaching us clearly. That means they have communication technology far better than ours." Tony Clark, the chief engineer, spoke from the back of the bridge. "If their communications are that advanced, what about their weapons? We might be in trouble here." Jake nodded. Tony was right to be concerned. "Amy, how's that translation coming?" "Almost done, sir. The computer says it has enough data to give us a basic translation." Amy paused, reading the screen. Her face went pale. "Captain, you need to hear this." "Put it on speakers." A cold mechanical voice filled the bridge. The words were in English, but with a strange accent that made them sound threatening. People of the planet called Earth, I am Admiral Vex Corlin of the Zephyrian Empire. We have watched your species for many years. We know about your ships, your weapons, and your cities. You are weak and your technology is simple. Jake felt anger rising in his chest, but he stayed quiet. The message continued. The Zephyrian Empire rules over 47 worlds. We have conquered every species we have met. You will surrender your planet to us. You have 30 Earth days to give up. Send your leaders to meet our fleet at the edge of your solar system. If you do not surrender, we will destroy every city on your world. This is not a request. This is what will happen. The message ended. The bridge was completely silent for several seconds. Did they just threaten to destroy Earth? Lisa asked, her voice tight with anger. Yes, they did, Jake replied. He looked around at his crew. These were good people, and the thought of aliens threatening their homeworld made him furious. Amy, was there anything else in that transmission? Just technical data, sir. Information about their fleet size and weapon power. Captain, they have 500 ships. Each one is bigger than our largest battleship. Tony whistled low. 500 ships? We don't have nearly that many in our entire space fleet. But we have something they don't expect, Lisa said, checking her weapons systems. We have Earth, and nobody takes our home without a fight. Jake smiled at Lisa's spirit, but he knew they were facing something terrible. Amy, send a priority message to Earth Command. Tell them about this transmission. Send everything we recorded. Already done, sir. I sent it the moment the alien message ended. Good thinking. Tony, how long to get back to Earth at full speed? Tony did quick calculations in his head. 18 days, Captain. We can push the engines harder, but we might break something important. Do it. We need to get home and warn everyone. Jake sat down in his captain's chair. Lisa, what do you think about their threat? They sound confident, sir. Too confident, like they've done this many times before and never lost. Lisa frowned at her tactical display. But they might not know everything about us. Maybe they've been watching from far away and missed some things. What kind of things? Amy asked. Well, they know about our military ships and weapons. But do they know about our planet's defenses? Do they know how humans fight when someone threatens our families? Lisa's eyes were hard. I don't think they understand what they're dealing with. Jake hoped Lisa was right. The alien admiral had sounded like destroying Earth would be easy for them. But Jake had studied human history. When people fought to defend their homes, they could do amazing things. Captain, incoming message from Earth Command, Amy announced. Put it through. The face of Admiral Kevin Brooks appeared on the main screen. He looked serious and tired. Captain Morrison, we received your transmission. This is now classified at the highest level. Return to Earth immediately. Don't stop for anything. Yes, sir. We're already on our way. Good. When you get here, you'll brief the United Defense Council directly. Every world leader needs to hear exactly what you heard. Admiral Brooks paused. Jake, what's your opinion? Are they serious? Yes, sir. They sounded like they've done this before. Many times. But, Admiral, I think they might have made a mistake. What kind of mistake? They assume we'll surrender like the other species did. They don't understand that humans don't give up when someone threatens our home. Admiral Brooks nodded slowly. Let's hope you're right, Captain. Earth's survival might depend on it. Brooks out. The screen went dark. Jake looked around at his crew again. Amy was still working on analyzing the alien transmission. Lisa was running combat scenarios on her tactical computer. Tony was pushing the engines beyond their safe limits to get them home faster. These were the kind of people the aliens were, threatening. Humans who worked together, who never gave up, who protected each other. The Zephyrian Empire might have conquered 47 worlds, but they had never faced Earth. Captain, Amy said, I found something interesting in their transmission, hidden in the technical data. What is it? Star charts, sir. I think they show us where their fleet is coming from. And Captain, there's something else. The transmission wasn't sent just to us. They sent the same message to Earth at the same time, which means they wanted Earth to know they were coming. This isn't a surprise attack. They want us to be afraid and surrender without fighting. Jake smiled grimly. If the aliens thought fear would make humans surrender, they really didn't understand his species at all. Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. It's time to go home and get ready for war. The USS Dakota turned toward Earth, carrying news that would change everything. Behind them, empty space held the echo of an alien threat. Ahead lay home, and a species that had never learned how to give up. In 18 days, Admiral Vex Corlin would learn the most important rule in the galaxy. Earth is not yours to conquer. 6 months after the Battle of Kepler Station, the galaxy was a completely different place. Admiral Marcus Kane stood in his new office aboard Liberty Station, looking out at a sight that would have been impossible before the war ended. A former Vorthak bioship floated peacefully next to a Zilithian cruiser, both ships working together to build a new research facility. Kane now carried the title of Coalition Supreme Commander, but he still found it hard to believe how much had changed. The Vorthak swarm no longer existed. In its place were thousands of independent groups, each trying to understand what it meant to be individuals instead of parts of a collective mind. Captain Lisa Morgan walked into his office carrying a datapad full of reports. She had been promoted to head the new Joint Strategic Command, where human unpredictability was now considered just as important as advanced alien technology. "The morning briefings, sir," Morgan said with a smile. "The news is mostly good today." Kane took the pad and read through the updates. 3 more former Vorthak groups had requested permission to join the coalition. A trade agreement had been signed between the Mindari Collective and a group of bioships that now called themselves the Independent Vorthak Nation. Even stranger, some Vorthak individuals had started asking questions about art and music and poetry. "How are the integration programs going?" Kane asked. "Better than expected," Morgan replied. "Dr. Brooks says the former collective members are learning faster than anyone thought possible. Some of them have developed personalities that are completely unique. They want to understand everything about individual consciousness." Dr. Helen Brooks had become the most famous scientist in the galaxy. Her research into consciousness and neural patterns had opened entirely new fields of study. She now led an unprecedented program where scientists from dozens of species worked together, including former Vorthak bioships that had been converted into research stations. The work was not easy, teaching millions of beings to think for themselves. After millions of years as a collective mind was like trying to explain color to someone who had been blind from birth. But the former Vorthak were eager students. They wanted to understand what they had become. In the rebuilt Kepler Station, now called Liberty Station in honor of the humans who had died to save the galaxy, Ambassador Thylon of the Mindari Collective prepared to give a speech that would be remembered for generations. The telepathic being stood before representatives from every species in the coalition, including a dozen former Vorthak who had learned to speak instead of just sharing thoughts. 6 months ago, we believed the storm was unstoppable, Thylon began, his mental voice reaching every mind in the room. We fought it on its own terms, with bigger weapons and stronger ships. We tried to match force with force and order with order. We failed because we could not imagine any other way to fight. He paused and looked directly at the human delegation. The humans taught us something that changed everything. They showed us that sometimes the greatest strength is the courage to be completely wrong by everyone else's standards. They took our organized, logical approach to warfare and threw it away. Instead, they gave us chaos. Beautiful, creative, wonderful chaos. Kane felt pride swell in his chest as Thylon continued. The humans did not defeat the Vorthak. They transformed them. They turned enemies into friends by showing them how to be individuals. This is a gift that no other species could have given. because no other species thinks the way humans think. After the ceremony, Kane walked through the station's new memorial garden. Holographic displays showed the names and faces of everyone who had died in the war. Commodore Jake Sullivan's image stood in the center, surrounded by the crew of the UES Horizon. Their sacrifice had made everything else possible. Captain. Amy Chen found Kane there, standing quietly before Sullivan's memorial. She wore the uniform of a ship's captain now, having been promoted after her actions during the battle. Her new command was waiting in the shipyard, the UES Sullivan, the first vessel in a new class designed not for war, but for exploration and diplomacy. "Admiral, we are ready to launch," Chen reported. "The Sullivan is fully supplied, and her crew is eager to start the mission." Kane nodded. Chen's mission was simple but important. She would seek out the remaining fragments of the former Vorthak collective across the galaxy and help them find their own paths to individual consciousness. It was dangerous work, but someone had to do it. "Remember, Captain, you are not there to conquer or control," Kane said. "You are there to teach and to learn. The galaxy is full of beings who are discovering what it means to be themselves for the first time. Help them find their way." Chen saluted and walked away, her footsteps echoing in the quiet garden. Kane watched her go and thought about how much the young pilot had grown since that desperate battle 6 months ago. She had been just another fighter pilot then. Now she was a captain, leading humanity's most important diplomatic mission. In the shipyard beyond the station, the UES Sullivan was a thing of beauty. She was sleek and fast, built for long-range exploration rather than combat. Her cargo holds were filled with supplies, medical equipment, and communication devices. But her most important cargo was her crew. Humans, Zalithians, Mindari, Corvins, and even 3 former Vorthak who had volunteered to help their fellow individuals learn about consciousness. Dr. Brooks stood on the Sullivan's bridge, reviewing the mission plan with Chen. They would visit remote systems where isolated Vorthak groups were struggling to understand their new individuality. Some were afraid, some were angry, some were simply confused. All of them needed help. "The psychological profiles are fascinating," Brooks explained to Chen. "Each group is developing its own culture and values. Some have become artists, others are focused on science. A few have even started writing poetry about what it feels like to be alone with your thoughts." Chen looked out at the stars through the bridge viewports. Those stars no longer seemed cold and distant. They were warm with the promise of connection between beings who had once seemed impossibly different. "Dr. Brooks, do you think we will succeed? Can we really help millions of beings learn to be individuals?" Brooks smiled. "Captain, 6 months ago the galaxy was dying. Today, former enemies work side by side to build a better future. Humans have a saying, the impossible just takes a little longer. I think we have plenty of time." The UES Sullivan undocked from Liberty Station and began her journey to the outer rim of the galaxy. As she jumped to hyperspace, her mission was clear. She would find the lost and confused fragments of the former Vorthak collective and help them discover what humanity had always known, that being different, being unpredictable, being wonderfully chaotic individuals was not a weakness. It was the greatest strength any species could possess. Behind her, the galaxy continued to heal and grow. The storm had been broken, and in its place, 1,000 new stories were beginning among the stars.